Welcome back. Today I'm starting off with a fresh face like always. I do already have my eyebrows done and I'm moving on to prepping the eyelids using MAC Paint Pot and Soft Ochre. This has quickly become one of my favorite eyeshadow bases. I love that it has a pigment and it definitely makes my shadows stay on a lot longer. I'm really excited today because I'm going to be using a ton of the new Makeup Geek eyeshadows. This one is Confection. It's a soft blush pink with like grayish cool tones, and I'm just dusting this into the crease using my Sigma E40, blending back and forth. This is going to be my first transition shade. I will go ahead and build up the color. Next, I'm picking up the shade Petal Pusher, which is about 2 shades darker than Confection, and it has more of a brownish undertone, and just layering that right on top using my Morphe M433 blending brush. This is definitely one of my favorite blending brushes of all time. I have like 3 of these, and I plan on getting even more because I use them so frequently. Next, I'm picking up the shade Curfew, which is a rich plum purple, and just packing this on the outer corner of my eye, and I will also bring this up into the outer part of my crease. I'm just really going to start packing and building up this color and preparing it for when I go in with the deepest purple shade. I want the outer corner of my eye to be really rich and smoky and just really full of color. And so once I pack that on, I'm taking the M433 blending brush and just blending that out. The brush that I'm using to pack on the color is the M440, and I love this brush for the outer corner, you guys. It makes the application so easy because it really just does all the work for you. I'm telling you, when you get the right brushes to do your makeup, it makes a world of a difference. So again, packing the color on, but then going back and blending it out and layering up the colors each time. Next, I'm picking up the color Motown, which is a gorgeous purple. It's like an eggplant purple, and I'm going to be packing this right on top of the other color that I just applied, really adding that depth and dimension to the outer corner, being very precise and just building up the color on the outer corner and into the outer crease. And then, of course, going and blending that out once I'm done packing it on. The reason I do this is because it really just helps everything blend together really smoothly, and it just prevents the look from looking choppy in any way. I'm picking up a Morphe individual eyeshadow in the color Cream Puff, and this is my favorite eyeshadow to apply underneath the brow bone because it's just a really pretty beigey kind of bone color, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know how else to describe it, but then I'm taking my E40 and just blending that out, but it just adds a nice subtle highlight, nothing too dramatic since we are going to go in with a crazy lid color, so I wanted to keep it pretty simple here on the brow bone. Next, I'm picking up the product that this entire look was inspired by, you guys. Are you ready for this? It is the Makeup Geek pigment in the color Sugar Rush. It's a duochrome pigment, so it has a white base and it reflects purple and pink and blue like reflex. It is so gorgeous. And I'm just packing this on using my finger and then taking my blending brush and just blending out the edges. And you guys, this is so intense and so gorgeous. Like, I can't even explain to you. I am obsessed with this pigment. I think it's just brilliant and I just love it. So just packing this on, and I didn't use any sort of adhesive or anything like that. I mean, it just stays right on the lids. Like, it just packs on beautifully. So I was super impressed with that. And then I'm picking up a little bit more of Curfew and just using that as like my blending shade. And then I'll also pick up some more of Motown and just pack that on the outer corner. When you're working with pigments, they tend to sort of dominate the area. So as you can see, there's a little bit of fallout onto my lashes, and I just want to make sure that all of the colors are staying very rich and true to color. So of course, just adding some on. Now I'm taking my gel liner. This one is by Maybelline, and I'm starting by creating a very dramatic wing. So I'm going to start by flicking the wing outwards, and then I'll turn my brush all the way around and start dragging it all the way across the lid. This is a Sigma E65 angled brush. It's one of my favorite eyeliner brushes if you guys are looking for a good angled brush. And then I just go ahead and I fill in the line. I did have to apply 2 coats of the liner today just to make sure that none of the pigment was showing through and to make sure that it was extra black and intense. Next, I'm just taking a makeup wipe and making sure that those outer corners are clean and crisp and cleaning up any of the fallout. Moving on to lashes, I'm taking the Cocoa Lashes in the style Goddess. And just giving you guys a heads up, you're probably going to hear about these lashes a lot from me because they are my absolute favorite right now. Curling them really quickly and then doing just a quick coat to the base of my lashes. This is the L'Oreal Carbon Black Voluminous Mascara. Moving on to primer, this is the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. I've been loving this, and I'm just applying this mainly in the T-zone or anywhere that I find that my makeup tends to break up throughout the day. And then have to do a little dance once you realize that you're moving on to the face. You're done with the eyes, moving on to the face. And then after that, I like to just make sure that I really work the primer into the skin. So you'll see I like to kind of just buff it into the pores using little circular motions, just making sure that it really does its job and lasts throughout the day. Now I'm really excited, you guys, because this is the first time that I'm using this foundation on camera. This is the NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. I have mine in the shade Light 3 Gobi. And I'm just first dotting this all over the skin. And then I'll take my favorite foundation brush at the moment, which is the Morphe E6, and just really work this into the skin. You'll see I mostly use a patting motion, and I will buff in some areas, but really just patting it and pressing it into the skin, making sure that I don't really move the product around because I want to get the most coverage out of this that I can. I've been loving this foundation, you guys. I mentioned it in my October favorites. It's just the first foundation that I've ever found that I didn't have to mix and match to find my perfect foundation shade for my natural skin color with no self-tanner. So I have just been loving this, and I love the finish that it gives. A very natural, luminous look without looking cakey, but still gives off really, really good coverage. The only thing that I don't like about it is it can settle into fine lines. So if that's an issue for you, you might not like this. Then I'm taking my favorite concealer at the moment. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I have mine in the shade Light Warm. And then just highlighting as usual, highlighting underneath the eyes, and then I'll go onto the chin, down the bridge of the nose, and then up onto the forehead as well. Just adding light to the areas that I want to draw attention to on my face, which is mainly the center of my face. And this concealer, you guys, I know I've talked about it quite a few times, but just letting you know, I love it. And it has amazing coverage, and it's amazing. It doesn't crease. I just love it so much. And then as you can see, I definitely sped up this clip because I'm just blending this out, nothing special about it. Using my beauty blender to really just work this into the skin. And I'm just using a pressing and dabbing motion to really make sure that the product doesn't move around. And yeah, I just love the Beauty Blender to blend out concealer because it picks up any of the excess product and doesn't make it look cakey. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to be setting the concealer. I forgot to show the product, but I'm using the Laura Mercier setting powder, and this is the Morphe M438 brush. I've been loving this to use to set my concealer recently, which is crazy because for like 2 years I've been using the Real Techniques setting brush. So I found a new favorite, you guys. Now I'm just setting the eyebrows. This is the Ulta Brow Tint in the color Light. And then I just take a little bit more of that concealer, and if I mess up on the brows, I like to just take a little angled brush and just fix it. Next, I'm taking this bronzer from ColourPop. It is in the color Skinny Dip. It was my first time using it. It's a matte bronzer, and I'm using my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to apply this. I am going to be showing you guys an entire haul showing you all of the new Makeup Geek stuff and all of the ColourPop stuff that I picked up, but I did want to put up a tutorial using some of them just so you can get an idea of what at least some of the products look like in action. So I'm just bronzing up the skin how I normally would, adding some warmth and some life back into the face. I like to apply the bronzer in the hollows of the cheeks, up onto the temples and forehead. And if you guys haven't tried any ColourPop products before, this consistency is really interesting because it feels like a mousse or a cream, but it applies as a powder, or it sets as a powder at least. So I really like it, really was loving the formula. And then I just took a little bit of that and just added a little bit of contour to my nose. I always like to blend out the nose contour using my Sigma P80 brush. Moving on to blush, this is by Makeup Geek in the color Spellbound, and I'm using my Sigma F40 large angled contour brush to apply this right onto the cheeks. And then I always like to blend it out using a big fluffy brush. This one is by Real Techniques. Moving on to highlighter, as you can see, this is beaming. This is a highlighter from ColourPop in the color Stole the Show, and I'm just using an e.l.f. small stipple brush to apply this to the high points of my cheeks. And I love this brush, you guys. It was $3, and it works amazing to use for highlighters. And I like to pop a little bit of that on my nose and my upper lip as well. Moving on to contour, I have actually been loving to use the eyeshadow from Makeup Geek in Barcelona Beach, and I always get asked what brush this is. This is the Morphe M512 brush, and I like this because it gives me that really precise placement. And as you can see, the contours are very harsh. This is so pigmented, so I always like to blend it out. I didn't show that part for some reason, but then I take a little bit more of that Laura Mercier setting powder and just clean up that line. And as you can see, ooh, yeah, my face is like, yep, looking crisp, looking real crisp. This is a great technique, you guys, if you struggle with getting a precise contour line. Using a translucent powder or even a pressed powder to clean up that line really makes such a difference. Moving on to the lower lash line, I'm taking this color by Makeup Geek called Wisteria, and I'm using my pencil brush to just pack this onto the lower lash line. And then I picked up a little bit more of Motown, which was that dark eggplant purple, and just placed that right on top. Using the same pencil brush, I just kind of wiped it off. I'm taking that pigment in Sugar Rush and placing this right on the inner corner of the eye, and it's really going to make the eyes just pop and come forward. You'll see in a second, it really just adds like a beautiful touch when you have a nice highlight on the inner corner of the eye. Taking this Flesh Toned Liner by NYX, I'm just placing this in the waterline. I didn't want to add a dark color to the waterline because I wanted my eyes to still look very like big and open. I didn't want to close them off by adding a dark color to the waterline, and using a nude is sometimes less harsh than using a white. So that's why I love this liner. Moving on to the lower lash line, I'm taking my L'Oreal Telescopic. This mascara is great for the lower lashes because, as you can see, the wand is very small and you can get really great precision using this wand. Moving on to the lips, this is my lip liner by the brand Italia Deluxe. I always pick these lip liners up when I go into Morphe, and you can find them on their website. This one is in the color Violet. I originally had posted a picture wearing this makeup look, and this is what I had on my lips. And I do love this color, but I wanted it to be a little bit more purple, so I went in with the ColourPop liquid lipstick in the color Bedazzled, and it gave me the perfect shade that I was looking for. And then after I finished the lips, I decided to accentuate that little mark that I have right under my lip. If you guys have any moles or beauty marks or anything, sometimes it's fun to, instead of covering them up, just accentuate them because I feel like it brings some character to the face. So that's what I did. I just dotted that right on top because it got covered up by my foundation. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial. If you did enjoy it, please leave me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon.